for the benefit of those who do not understand my native language. Our khutbah for today is titled Reflecting on the New Year, the Muslim's Perspective. My brothers and sisters, indeed, it is obvious that we are in a new year, in the Gregorian year calendar, and it is year 2025. While it is natural to feel a sense of excitement and renewal, as Muslims, we must reflect that this is an opportunity for us to continue to worship Allah as expected and to please Him. The Gregorian calendar has no business, has nothing to do with our deen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no business with this year. And for you to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no business with this calendar, the way we count, it is for you to, you will have to look at the way we have so many different kinds of or types of calendars. We have the Gregorian calendar. Before the Gregorian calendar, we have the Julian calendar, which was set aside and the whole world adopted the Gregorian calendar. We have the Chinese calendar. We have the Jewish calendar. We have the Ethiopian calendar, which is about 7 years behind the Gregorian calendar. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is concerned or has any business with the new year that you are celebrating, then we all would have gotten or would have a single day as a new year. We'll have a single calendar and we'll have a single date. But when you look at the way things are, while it is Monday, it is Friday everywhere, but one thing is clear, it is not New Year everywhere. And that is why while you are celebrating your New Year, maybe some people are waiting in the next 5 months before they celebrate their New Year. So what makes you think that there's anything special about the New Year? What is more important is your level of piety, your level of taqwa, how much you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in a verse of the Quran. He made it clear to us that our counting of days is different from His. The way He counts days is different from the way we count. He told us in Surah Al-Hajj, chapter 22, verse 47, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِنَّ يَوْمًا عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ مِّمَّا تَعُدُّونَ. He said, وَإِنَّ يَوْمًا. He said, and indeed a day, عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ, with your Lord, كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ, is like what? Is like 1,000 years, مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ, to which you count. So we are counting days, but probably in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have not even used up to an hour. So you are counting, I have used 50 years on earth. But in the sight of Allah, maybe you have not even used up to 30 minutes. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in this verse of the Quran that a day in the sight of Allah is equal 1,000 years in this dunya, in this world. So tell me, you are celebrating New Year. So what makes you think it is New Year in the sight of Allah? It is just a normal day in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why you must make effort to always please Allah every day. You must make effort to move closer to Allah every day. That is the most important thing. While it is inevitable for us to relate with the Gregorian calendar due to the nature of the kind of environment we find ourselves, because we are in a secular state and we are in an environment where the Gregorian calendar is adopted and used to count days. But one thing we must know is that it has nothing to do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah will bless you because He wants to bless you. He will not bless you because you are in a new year. Allah will not send down blessings upon you because you are in the year 2025. Because He never made any promise with anybody that they will see the year 2025. And He never made any promise that in the year 2025 I'm going to bless anybody. So you must understand and you must know that what is important is that Allah has given you the chance, the opportunity to see a new day. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of the opportunity that you slept and you woke up alive and healthy to see a new day. That is the most important thing for you as a believer. You shouldn't be bothered about, this is 2025, I must be successful this year, I must build my house this year, I must buy a new car, I must do this, I must do that. It doesn't concern Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And where you will know that this doesn't concern Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that on the eve of the new year, the Gregorian calendar, so while some people are rejoicing in anticipation of the new year, some people are weeping. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has anything to do or is concerned about the new year, He would have given them the chance to celebrate the new year before the calamity will strike them, or before He tests them. Or because it doesn't have anything to do with the new year. And that is why you hear on the 31st of December, somebody died. On the 31st of December, maybe somebody has an accident. Allah did not wait for them to celebrate because it doesn't have anything to do with the new year. And one thing is, you have to understand that the fact that even amongst we humans, we have a different calendar that we are using to count our days. It is obvious for you to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no business with anything, with the way you count your days in terms of the years or the kind of calendar you use. What is important is how you use every day, every opportunity given to you. Because if you wake up every day, it is an opportunity for you to renew your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you sleep and you wake up, it is an opportunity for you. If your relationship with Allah yesterday was bad, today is an opportunity for you to renew your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not a new year. It is an opportunity for you to renew your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why in all the books Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent, He didn't mention anything like December or January. In the Quran, in the Bible, or in any of the scriptures that people refer to that is connected, that they connect to Allah, to the Supreme God. In the Torah, you can't find anything like December or January. So that is why you must understand one thing, that you seeing today is a blessing and is an opportunity for you to renew your relationship with Allah. It is not because it is year 2025 and Allah wants you to see year 2025. You are the one that is counting years. Because you have an end. Allah doesn't have an end, and that is why He doesn't need to count years. Huwa al-awwal wal-akhiru. He is the beginning and He is the end. And that is why He doesn't need to count days or count months or count years. But because you as a human, you have your beginning and you have your end. And that is why you are counting days. When you celebrate 50 years, it means you are counting the number of days you have. The number of days you've existed. And what it means is that the number of days you have left on the earth is reducing. Has reduced by 50 years already. So do not say, oh, this is year 2025, I must be successful, because Allah did not promise anybody anything regarding year 2025. Allah did not promise anybody anything regarding new year. If Allah wants to bless you, He will bless you. There's nothing He cannot do. إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أَنْ يَقُولَ لَهُ كُنْ فَيَكُونَ. If you want to do something, all you just have to do is to what? Say, kun, be, and it will be. So my brothers and sisters in Deen, while you are excited about the new year, because of the environment we find ourselves, it is inevitable for us to relate with the Gregorian calendar. But one thing you must understand is that you shouldn't attach it to your worship. Your worship should not be because it is December 31st or January 1st or January 3rd or January 5th or so. Your worship should be because you want to worship Allah. And you should worship Allah every day. You should use every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month of your life to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you will be judged according to how you spend every second of your life. It will not be judged according to how you spend a year. It will be judged how you spend every second of your life. Because every second of your life, every action you take, in every second of your life will be recorded. And that is on the day of resurrection. When people are giving their book, they will say, Mali hadha al-kitab. What kind of book is this? La yughadiru saghiratan wa la kabiratan illa ahsaha. Now what kind of book is this? It doesn't leave anything, whether big or small, except that what it records it. So if you have a kind of record like that, where whatever you do, irrespective of how big or small it is, if you have that kind of record, then you should understand that it is not your daily activity that is being recorded, it is your per second activities that is being recorded. And that is why, as believers, we must take advantage of while we have our lives before Allah takes us back. And that is why in a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ told us in a hadith, he gave us a very important advice. The Prophet ﷺ told us in this hadith, he said, "Ightanim khamsan qabla khamsin." He said, take advantage of 5 things before 5 things. Or take advantage of 5 periods before 5 periods. And what are those? He said, Shababaka qabla haramik. He said, your youthful age before old age. Oh, you are celebrating 2025. But one thing you are forgetting is that you are adding more years and you are growing older. You will lose that age, that youthfulness. You will lose it. So take advantage of it. He said, Shababaka qabla haramik. He said, take advantage of your youthfulness, your youthful age before old age. Then he said, the next thing he said, وَصِحَّتَكْ قَبْلَ سَقَمِكْ. He said, your health before illness. When you have the sound health, use your sound health to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Use your sound health to help people. Use your sound health to make impact, to have positive impact in your environment before Allah tests you with illness. Then what is the next thing? The Prophet ﷺ said, he said, وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. He said, and what? And your wealth before poverty. When you have in abundance, before the scarcity, when Allah has blessed you with so much, before the time He will test you with little. Take advantage. So instead of saying, I'm waiting till 2025, I'm waiting till December 2025, I do this before I do that, now that you have whatever it is that you have, take advantage, use that thing, use it properly, utilize it as expected, use it to worship Allah, use it to help people, have positive impact in your society. It is more important for you, it is more beneficial. Then the Prophet ﷺ told us in the next thing he told us to take advantage. He said what? He said, وَفَرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِكَ. He said you should take advantage of when you are free before you become occupied. Today you are a single, you are a bachelor, you don't have responsibilities. And you want to further your education, do not postpone. It is better you begin to what? Make efforts, further your education now. Or you want to learn that skill that will make you to what? To be financially independent. This is the time. Take advantage of that period that you have that time to learn. Improve yourself. Because a time will come, you want to learn other skills, but you have to chase money because you have responsibilities. So take advantage of that time, of that period. Then the Prophet ﷺ told us, and what is the last, which is the most important thing? He said what? He said, وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ. That you take advantage of your life when you have your life before death comes. And that is what many of us take for granted. You should take advantage of when you have your life before death comes, before death approaches. Oh, I'm going to do this. So many people are supposed to do good things. They said, no, I'm going to wait till 2025 before I do it. But they didn't see the end of 2024. And that is why you should take advantage of when you have your life to do what is good, to please Allah, to worship Allah, to help the needy, to have positive impact in your society before Allah takes your life. Because this life belongs to Allah. It is like a currency we are given to trade. If the business transaction goes well, you will know on the day of resurrection. If it doesn't go well, you will know on the day of resurrection. May Allah guide us. So, my brothers and sisters in Deen, let us try as much as possible to take advantage of the time we have, of the health we have, of the wealth we have, of our time, free time, and everything now of our youthfulness. Let us take advantage to worship Allah, to please Allah, to help people, to make sure we do something good, have positive impact in our society. And lastly, let us understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in a verse of the Quran in Surah Al Imran, chapter 3, verse 133. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَّبِّكُمْ وجنة عرضها السماوات والأرض أعدت للمتقين. In this noble verse of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, He said, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ. He said you should hasten towards forgiveness from your إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. You should hasten towards forgiveness from your Lord. وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ. He said, and a paradise as vast as the heavens, u'iddat lil muttaqin, is what? Prepared for those mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So meaning you should make effort now that you have life, now that you have health, now that you have everything, Allah has given you time and everything. Make effort. Hasten towards the forgiveness of your Lord so that you can be among those who will enjoy a garden, a paradise that is as vast as the heavens and the earth on the day of resurrection. So my brothers and sisters in Deen, our life is what we must take advantage of when we have our life before death approaches us. And one thing we must know as believers is that you should not bother yourself about whether you are in a new year or in a new month or in a new week or whatever. What you should be more concerned about is, how is my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That is what Allah will not tell you, how did you use 2025? When He wants to ask you, He will ask you, how did you live your life? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and make us people who would fear Him and people who would want to please Him at all times. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our life easy for us, and we also use this opportunity to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to please come to the rescue of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease their affairs. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us stop the bloodshed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all those who have died among them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us find a long-lasting solution to this problem. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to strengthen the entire Muslim ummah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to bless every one of us, all our businesses, all our activities, our families. Allah continue to put barakah in our families. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to put barakah in our businesses. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to elevate us in our places of work. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to guide every steps that we take. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to increase us in iman and make us among those who would fear Him, who would sincerely fear Him, those who would sincerely worship Him, those who would do things for His sake only and not for the sake of anything. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد. ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ربنا تقبل دعاءنا إنك أنت السميع الدعاء وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار. ربنا آتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. وصل اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله العظيم الجليل يذكركم واشكروه على آلائه ونعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون قوموا إلى الصلاة يرحمكم الله.